Hey everybody, welcome to the Mainstream Indie Music channel. We talk about all things alternative music, indie music, and if you're new to the channel, welcome. I really appreciate that you're here. And if you are returning, I welcome you also. I'd say about a year ago or so, we released, to this date, one of our biggest videos, and it's also supplied, I think, our multiple biggest short videos that we've released on this channel, and that was on the band Incubus. It's so funny to look back at it because I still, of course, because the video gets recommended so much to new people, they always correct me on how big Incubus is. You know, they constantly tell me how huge the band is, how they go on worldwide tours and sell out and stuff like that. And let me just say before we begin this video on Nicole, I did not mean to intend that Incubus was kind of like a wash band, because I love them. You know, I've been listening to them since, I think I was like 17 years old. So, I mean, like close to 20 years ago, I was listening to them. I wouldn't say I'm the hugest fan of them, though, but I mean, I know who they are. I've listened to their discography. And a band that's been around for that long goes through a lot of changes, right? And so one of their changes was their longtime bass player had to be replaced, and they had an interesting pick, Nicole Rowe. Now, rock music and women in rock music, right, is a very big love-hate relationship. Because you got your musical legends, and I'm just talking about the rock era. I'm not going into like pop music and so on and so forth. Just in rock, you got your music legends, Joan Jett. You got even like solo artists, as well. You got Alanis Morissette. You got even people like Hayley Williams, right? Definitely all there. However, was it easy for them? No. Were women very much demeaned? And I mean, even to this day, you go see a band, I bet a lot of time it's just kind of because guys are falling heads over heels for them. Again, nothing wrong with falling for a beautiful person, beautiful woman. Nothing wrong with that. But it definitely creates a lot of challenges for them. However, Nicole has been used to challenges, I would say, pretty much her whole life. Challenge number one, growing up in her household, they didn't have any musical instruments. So Nicole kind of just became creative and said, well, if we don't have any instruments, if our parents are not going to buy any instruments while they were growing up, she just joined choir and decided to just work on her voice. And so that's what she did. Challenge number two, her older brother, sadly, passed away at an early age. Her older brother, Josh, died of a heroin overdose. She would have been about 18, 19 years old. Huge life-changing event, right? But she kept going forward. What she's decided to do, as I was discussing and talking about, her parents, she didn't come from a musical background. She had to go to college and get and study a musical degree. And she got one in LA in the Musical Institute. What's really cool is she learned from bassists because her musical taste started from attending a concert by the Deftones, and she got really into Sublime. And what happened was, because of that, she really liked the different way of playing bass, not your standard way, kind of like the funk way, a la Larry Graham, John Paul Jones, and probably Flea from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Different way of playing. Now, after graduating and getting her degree, she went around the LA scene, starting to tour with different kind of young bands, up-and-coming groups. But it's this next kind of era, you could say, in her life that changed everything, changed her entire trajectory. This was when, while touring, she got into touch with and talked with her, soon-to-be future musical partner, Miley Cyrus, and her team. Now, what's interesting is the timeline of things. because where Miley, you imagine where, who Miley Cyrus is and stuff like that. You kind of wonder, like, how did that cross over with kind of what Nicole might have been looking for? Well, this was in the late 2010s. I believe it was 2017 or 2016 when they first got into touch. During this time period, this was not kind of the Miley Cyrus that probably the image that jumps into your head was during those like infamous Blurred Lines stage performance with Robin Thicke, Wrecking Ball, so on and so forth. That was earlier Miley. This is later into her career, her sixth studio album, entitled Younger Now, went away from pop music and much more kind of even into rock and country. In fact, that studio album, Miley was not interested in releasing songs to chart on the music charts and did not have a huge over-the-top tour behind it. It was very stripped and laid back and much more focused on the music. It was almost perfect for Nicole to get in. And what's interesting is during that tour, a lot of the times Nicole would be playing stand-up bass and accompanying Miley singing on stripped back tracks. Now, after the Miley Cyrus tour was over, she suddenly got a call from no one else other than Brandon Urie from Panic at the Disco. What was crazy is you have to remember the timeline. This is 2018. If you remember the fallout that Panic at the Disco had with Down Weeks, and I hope I said his name right, he left abruptly. They were just about to begin the Pray for the Wicked tour. So you imagine, not only is this last minute, but he needs her to join and be ready for their tour that's about to start in just about 3 weeks' time. She was able to do it, learn pretty much their entire discography, and rolled with Panic at the Disco until the very end of the band in 2023. Seemingly right at the end of that Panic at the Disco band, she received a call from none other than Incubus, especially with Ben, their bass player, suffering major complications from a surgery the previous year. They were surprised to find out that she was a massive fan of Incubus and had been listening to them all the way back from her preteen years. With huge excitement and support from the entire group, she's been with Incubus since. Really, her life shows how much hard work can benefit you in the end. What do you guys think of her and Incubus? Stay tuned for next week.